I am super excited to be here this morning talking about maximizing your open house. Want to make sure my technology is working. If you can go on that left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a chat box. Type in that chat box that you can hear me. That's very helpful. Good morning, Lisa. Morning, Bob, Lynn, Janice, Jonathan, and Donna. I actually recognize most of the names on here this morning, which is always exciting. And also it's exciting because that means that you all know the rules. I'm Kelsey. I'm here to help you really maximize utilizing your Back at You office. And as part of that, I really want this to be interactive. So the more questions you have about everything that we go over today, the better it will be. I do want to share, I'll share some articles this afternoon that I found online and re-preparing for this, to talk more about open houses and if they're a good idea or not. There's a lot of interesting schools of thought out there. I do want to first, though, talk about how you find your open house. So as we come into more of that open house season, so we're outside holidays, we're not starting school, we're not ending school. If you're in the northern part of the United States, it's warming up. If you're in the southern part of the United States, it is warming up for what is cool for you. And we want to talk about what tools are you using when you're selecting your open house. So the first thing that you want to think about when you are selecting your open house is it easy to find? So as you are selecting which house you're going to sit open this weekend, the first question that you should be asking yourself is, can people find me easily? Or do they have to take 18,000 turns to get to where I'm going? So as you're selecting, really ease of access is something that you should be taking into consideration. You also should be taking into consideration how good is my signage to get there. So if you're hosting an open house that is 18 turns in, do you have enough signage that it makes it easier to find? A good rule of thumb is at any intersection that you come to on the way to the house, there needs to be clear signage no matter which direction you're coming from. So if there are 4 turns off the main drag to get to the home that you're sitting, you need to have a minimum of 4 signs. If there are 2 ways into that house and there are 4 turns each way, you need to have 8 signs. Does that make sense to everyone? I'm a firm believer in the more signs that you have, the more likely you are to have a successful open house. If people don't know where it is and it doesn't seem like they are newly placed signs, you are less likely to get people to your open house. So that's the number one thing when selecting your open house. The second thing you need to think about is the home that you're sitting open in a high demand price point? So we have people on the line today from all over. So if you can just actually in the chat box, let's do this to talk about in demand price point while we're on this slide. If you can drop in the chat box what your market area is, city and state, and what the average high selling price point is for your market. So if you're in the Dallas market, what is the hottest price point? And obviously you'd put, I'm from Dallas, Texas. And I do believe that in-demand price point is a little bit different than average selling price. They can be the same, but they can also be very different. Good morning, Chris. I didn't see you sneak in. Awesome. So we've got people from Texas and from California and from Shreveport, Louisiana, and from Michigan. And really that price varies from about 200,000 to about 700,000. And I would argue as well, I'm actually from Coeur d'Alene as well. I know Bob. And I would argue too that there are pockets within price ranges. So if you're in Coeur d'Alene right now and you're falling between 250 and 300,000, your home is very likely moving very quickly. However, there is also a set of luxury homes in our market that if you're falling between that 750 to 850 range, you're under that $1 million mark, that's also a very good moving higher price point for us. So as you're looking at that in-demand price point, you need to also think, okay, are these the buyers I want? Are these the sellers I want? What's moving? And run some searches in your MLS to really hone in on what is that price point for where I'm going to sit. The next thing is that we're going to talk about is it in a desirable neighborhood? Now, good morning, Andrew. When I'm talking about a desirable neighborhood, this is for you as an agent. So when you're choosing your open house, our open house is geared towards selling the home, absolutely. And I am very hopeful for all of you that someone walks into your open house and they are the one to buy the house. However, there's a few other things that happen when you host an open house that many of you who are very seasoned on this call know. One, you're going to find buyers in the price point. Two, you're going to find sellers in the price point. And the third thing that happens that's actually pretty interesting that Realtor.com, the National Association of Realtors, published is that homes that host an open house are more likely to go and sell at their listing price or above. So you're also helping to really go in and sell that house at that price point, whether someone comes in or not. Hey, Judy, you asked how do you sign in? I think you're talking about signing into the webinar. You're in. You should be able to hear me. So is it in a desirable neighborhood for you? Is it part of your farm? Is it an area you would like to grow clients in? Is it an area where there are turnovers of multiple homes in a year? Hosting an open house in a neighborhood that only sells one house every 5 years is probably not the best way to grow your business. You want at least 3 to 5 homes minimum to be selling in the neighborhood or community that you are sitting an open house in so that you can grow your business. The point of you hosting an open house is to grow your book of business and help find a buyer for that home and help the seller get their asking point for the home. So when you think about desirable neighborhood, you need to think about, for me as an agent and the book of business that I want to grow, does this neighborhood fit that profile? As you're choosing your open house days, you need to look and see if there are other community events happening on the same day for 2 reasons. One, you either need to piggyback on those events and use them as a way to cross promote your open house, or 2, you need to avoid a conflict of schedule when it might draw traffic away from your event. So if you have a St. Patrick's Day parade on the weekend, that weekend before St. Patrick's Day, I believe is the 15th, is that Saturday? Or maybe it's the 14th, 15th. It is. It's the 14th, 15th is the weekend before. And there's a big St. Patrick's Day parade in your community. That could be a really good time to host your open house if you are in the vicinity of that parade where people could walk in and have traffic, or they're going to have to drive by your open house to see that traffic. However, if the community St. Patrick's Parade is in one city and you're hosting an open house 45 minutes away, that may not be the day to sit your open house, or you need to choose the times of your open house to complement the community event. So if the parade is at 9 a.m., your open house starts at 11 a.m. so that you're not competing with something like that. If there's a community garage sale, if there's a parade of homes, if there are parades or 5K events or things of that nature, those are great things to piggyback on and hold your open house complementing those community events. And the last thing I just want to briefly talk about is scheduling your open house. So this slide that says, are you scheduling it with the time to market it? I read a statistic recently, I don't remember where I read it, but it said that potential buyers were searching the words open houses up to 3 to 5 times a week online. And so if you are hosting an open house, you need to give yourself at least 5 business days to help yourself promote your open house. If you don't have the time to get some word of mouth going out, send an email to all your potential buyers, schedule it in your office account, then you need to choose a different time, because your goal is to get as many people into that open house as possible. And to do that, you need to allow yourself time to market the property and market what you're doing. Put up a Facebook post, schedule a Facebook ad, put out some Google AdWords, put up a rider on the sign in front of the house that says open house Saturday. Make sure that you are putting it on your website. Send out an email to the people within your circle of influence and your buyers that you're working right now. And you need to be able to do that more than once. They need to have like a Monday reminder and a Friday reminder. So the earlier you know you're going to sit an open house, the better off you are. Cool? Ready to jump into your office and see where some of these tools are and how you can apply things? So those are the 5 things that I highly recommend when it comes to really doing your open house. Selection. Is it easy to find? Selection. Is it in a high price, demand price point? Is it in a neighborhood that you want to build business in, or a community that you want to build business in? Are there community events the same day when it comes to the scheduling time that you either need to adjust your time or piggyback with? And are you scheduling it with enough time for you to do the marketing for your open house? After you have done those things, let's talk about the tools that are within your office that you can really start to maximize your open house. So as you're within your office account, we are pulling your open houses from your MLS as long as your MLS is exporting them. But if you are a buyer's agent, or if you currently don't have any listings, or perhaps you have a listing, but you've promised it to someone else to host or something like that, you can absolutely schedule additional open houses. And how you do that is you go into the listings gauge on the left-hand side of your screen, and you go into the open house gauge here. And when you go into this open house gauge, it is going to show you all the scheduled open houses. So I can see here that at 700 Sestasha Drive, there is an open house on this date. Once you schedule an open house, it's going to show not only on your agent website, but also on the company website. So let's talk about how you add an open house. I'm going to add an open house here by clicking the plus open house button in the upper right-hand corner. And then I am going to see only my listings. Once I go in, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to hold it at this Mesa Drive. And I'm going to say who is holding it. If I am the one holding it, obviously I'm in my account, so my name will show. But if someone else in my office is holding it and I'm the listing agent, I can go in and I can select a different agent, the date and the time that open house is being held. I can also add as many additional dates as I need to for that open house. So you can go in and in one foul swoop, you could schedule every open house that you're doing. Maybe you've promised your seller that you're going to host an open house every Thursday from 3 to 7 for the first 4 weeks of the listing or whatever it is. You can go in, you can schedule them all at the same time, and you can click finish. Now, there is another tool within the system that we often forget is available, and that is to schedule an opportunity. So maybe you've told your seller. I tell my seller, Chris, I say, hey, Chris, open houses can be a really great way to help you get your listing, your asking price on your home. The Association of Realtors said that it was between 98 and 110%, depending on the market of listing price, that homes that had open houses received. I'll put that article on Facebook today. It's a pretty interesting article. And that when they did that, they looked at major metropolitan areas. So you can also say, hey, that's great. I've told Chris, my seller, I'm going to host an open house every week on Saturday and Sunday for the first 3 weeks your house is listed. But I'm not going to be the one that actually does it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in my opportunity. So there's an opportunity button up here in the upper right-hand corner. And you would go in, you would choose your listing. And once you choose that listing, I can say create as an open house opportunity. And I'm going to say on Saturday from 9:30 to 11 or 12:45, I'm going to go in and I can put in all the opportunities. So all those open houses that I promised my seller I would have, I can easily drop in and add them as opportunities. As an agent who's looking for open houses, you can click on this opportunities tab and it will list all the available opportunities in your office. And if you go to the actions button, you can elect to hold it open. Yep, I'm sure I want to hold it open. It automatically will move from the opportunities tab to the scheduled tab, and my name gets attached to it. So you can schedule your open house. If you're a listing agent looking for help, you can also go in and schedule it as an opportunity. Any questions on that side of it? If you don't have any questions, if you can just drop in that chat box that makes sense, that helps me know that it makes sense for you. Perfect. So the other thing that I want to talk about is how that displays on the actual listing website. So within the listings, every listing, you all know, gets its own website through your office. And when you can actually go in and you can see those listings, you can see how that works. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get that listing website because this was a different agent's listing. Hang tight with me here while I pull it up. Because when an open house is scheduled, it is displayed not only on your agent website, but it is also displayed on the company website. So if I go to iqre.com and I open up and I search for this listing. I need to know the address. 6143. 6143. And you have to bear with me because I'm in a demo account. And so this is not, the demo account does not have a live listings feed. So there's a little bit of workaround I have to do to show you all this. But I go in, I find that listing. It should not be far down. Mesa Drive. Let's see if I can find a different one. I can't. So you're going to have to trust me. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to show you what this looks like. Oh, they must be fixing something. So here is an example. I can see here in this search that this little open house tab shows. It shows also if the consumer has chosen to receive alerts about open houses, those alerts will automatically go out. But it also is going to show that open house across the listing as a banner so that everybody knows there's an open house here. On the details page and the single listing website, it's also going to show that there is an open house at that home. If you have scheduled more than one open house, it is going to list all the open houses here underneath. So it'd say, hey, Saturday, February 29th from 8 to 10:30, there's this open house. Sunday on March 1st, there's this open house. So you can list multiple open houses and it will show them all here. The other thing that happens is on that search, if you have an open house page. So for example, this website has an open house button here. It will show all of those open houses. So if you're putting in multiple open houses, you're populating in yet another place on your company site. Any questions on that side of things? Cool. So how do you capture leads once you are at your open house? So we've talked about how to go in, how to schedule your open house, how to schedule opportunities within your office for those open houses. There are also open house sign-in pages. So you can go in, listings, open houses, and there is a sign-in page. When you go to that sign-in page, it is going to show your information as the hosting agent here on that page. This is a lead capture page. You do have to have internet to utilize this page. And when a consumer puts in their information, so if I type in my information, into this lead capture form, I am asked a few questions. Do I want this property to be texted? Do I want this property to be emailed? This page will automatically time out in about 30 seconds so that it goes back. A few things that are great about this page. One, your client's information is not just sitting out on a piece of paper on a counter to be used forever. Two, anyone who enters their information into the lead form automatically filters into your CRM. These leads go to you as the hosting agent and they automatically fill within the CRM. Once that happens, your client gets, and I'm opening up my messages on another screen here so I can show you what it looks like. They get a text that says, hey, thank you for showing. So I'm going to go in. I'm just going to pull up one of these texts really quick. Here we go. So right here where it says, Kelsey, thank you for stopping by the open house today. Click here to view the details of the property. When they click on that link, it redirects to the hosting agent's site. So it's helping the agent, you the agent who are holding the open house, drive people to your site. There's a question, and the question says, do you have to be signed up for the texting service for this to text out? No, you do not have to be signed up for the texting service for it to text out. It comes from a system-generated text that automatically goes out with the information about the property. The lead automatically comes in to your CRM. I can see here, open house sign in, here's a lead, and I can see that underneath the activities. So when I go in and look at that leads, I can see, here's the viewed properties. If I click on viewed properties, it's gonna pull up the properties that that lead looked at. And again, it's automatically coming in to my CRM so I can manage that lead. I don't have to go in and manually type it in. I don't have to go in and remember to put it in after my open house. It can automatically fill in. The text and the email with the property information automatically go out, and I can manage that lead. Good question, Chris. So here's the other cool thing about this open house sign-in page. Because this is a digital page, if you want to share this page on your social media, you absolutely can. To do that, you would just copy this URL at the top, and you would open up the social media that you wanted to share, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it was. And you could go in, go to your business page. Hey, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go into my business page. And I'm going to create a post about this. It's going to pull up the preview of that home. And I can say something like, hosting a wonderful home open this Saturday. Really excited about how great it is. If you want more information on this home and aren't able to attend, click on the link below and automatically have a text sent to you. So you can use that sign-in page multiple ways. Again, to get there, we went into listings, open houses. We located the open house that I was hosting open and clicked on sign-in page. They're doing some work on the demo site right now, so I apologize that that's the error that I get. So the other items that you can do is from here, you can also easily print your flyer. I can say, hey, I need to print a flyer. It will pull up all the open house flyers. I can say, hey, I like this green open house. It's going to automatically put all that information in for me because I'm doing it from the open house screen. photos and all of that. Again, my information automatically goes in as well. The last thing I want to talk about is creating that flyer. So you created your flyer. It is always a good idea to send out what you are doing to all of your active clients. And part of the reason I say that is there's a problem in our industry that people don't know what real estate agents really do. So it does benefit us to let everyone we're working with or have worked with know what we're doing on a regular basis. And this is part of the reason that I say it's very beneficial to plan your open house as far in advance as you can, because within that marketing section, you can go in and you can access your saved content, and you can create an e-flyer for an open house blast. But the other thing you can do is you can create a letter for your past clients or your circle of influence talking about the industry and inviting them to an open house to talk about their house. I can go in, I can create a blank content. I'm going to call this my open house letter for March. And I'm going to call it my circle of influence letters. And what you can do is you can actually go in and you could create a letter that said, hey, contact first name. So that would automatically insert the contact first name for everybody that I'm sending it to. So if I'm sending it to everyone on this webinar, it would say, hey, Lisa, hey, Lynn, hey, Bob, hey, Jonathan, hey, Chris. Super excited about the market. There's a lot of things going on. This is what the market's been doing that we've seen so far this year. As we head into first quarter, this is what's happening. I want to go ahead and invite you to all of my open houses that I have up and coming. You can see them here on this website. So to do that, you would go to your website. You would access that open house tab. If you type this at the back of your open house or about the back of your website, /listings/open house, it will pull up all of the open houses for your listings. To see them, come here. If you have any questions about the market or the value of your house or what's happening with lending right now, I would welcome you to stop by, have a cup of coffee with me. I'd be happy to discuss and to do something more than just blasting out a flyer about open house. Make this personal, a personal invitation to come see you at a home that's easy to find in a high demand price point at a predetermined date that gives them enough time to plan it, to talk about real estate. Open up the door so that they can come in and say, hey, Donna, I've been thinking about selling my home. I'm really nervous. I don't want to waste your time and make an appointment because I don't really know what's going on. The client is not going to reach out to you. You need to reach out to the client. And if you let them know when you're available and that you're going to be there anyway, hey, Judy, I'm going to be at my open house this Saturday from 10 till 3. I would love to have you come in and talk about what the real estate market's doing. I know that you said that you had questions. Please come visit me. I'm going to be there the whole time. It's no inconvenience. Lisa, what part do you want me to repeat? This is like my favorite part of these. Yeah. So if you go to your website, so if I go to, my website would be IQW or IQRE.co, and then you click /listings open houses, open house, it will pull up the list of all the open houses that are scheduled in your company. So here's all the open houses. To do that, I'm going to go in, I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to say, hey, contact first name. The start of 2020 for real estate has been strong. I anticipate seeing more listings coming on the market and lending rates to remain stable. I want to invite you to my open house. Houses this month. They are, and then you could list yours out, or you could say, do you want to see what homes are open? And you would just copy and paste that link. Now, that's going to pull all the open houses for your company. If you want to pull only the homes that you are sitting open, this is what I would do. I would use the open house sign-in page and say, these are the homes that I'm holding open this month. If you want to know the days and times I'll be available, simply click and put in your information and I'll get back to you. And that's another way you can use that open house landing page. If you know that you're going to be sitting this home open every time, you could go to this page, this listing page, and you could just share this listing page. Does that answer your question, Lisa? So I could say, okay, here this is the one that I'm going to be holding open all a month. I will be at, what's the address? Let's close that so I stop opening it. At 383 Chester Way on Saturdays this month. And would love to talk to you about your home. Love to have time to catch up. To see the times of I will be there and more about the home, you can click here. Then I'm going to put in a hyperlink. New window, okay. I've got a hyperlink, it's putting that in. I put in my agent signature. And I click OK. Then I can go ahead and I can save an email. And I can say, hey, I want this to go out to all my circle of influence contacts. And I click send. Really, for open houses, it is this. 1, choose something that you are going to be there. Sit there as often as you can. Let everyone know you're there and look at it as an opportunity to build your business. Help the seller ensure that they're getting their asking price. Reach out to your circle of influence and your contact base to let them know your door is open. You have to start asking for business. Open houses can be a great way to do that. And there are a ton of tools in here to do it. Going in, using that open house sign-in page, creating a flyer about the home, creating a digital flyer about the home, sending out a letter to your circle of influence, posting that on your social media. I also would recommend that when you're at the house, you go live if you're comfortable doing that. Keeping in mind that if you go live and you don't want it to be of your face, that's great. You can just turn the camera around and actually show the home. but live videos have something like 75 to 80% more interaction than a regular post. I don't have anything else for you today unless any of you have questions. I am more than happy to answer. Remember, every Monday at 8 a.m. we have these sessions. We also do a session at 9:30 in the morning every Monday morning. We are more than happy to have you join. I do want to end with just a few resources for you. We do have a Facebook group. It's called the Back at You Office Masterminds. We would love to have you join this group, and it's a great place to ask questions and interact. We also have a YouTube channel. And this is a great place for you to be able to go in and search for videos. We post all of our webinars. They are recorded, and we do post them here as well. Oh, good, Chris. And all of our upcoming trainings you can find on our Showtime channel. Let me just pull that up for you as well. And we have a ton of upcoming trainings we would love to have you participate in. There will always be an email that goes out Monday afternoons with recordings of our sessions as well as what's coming up. So please know that there are trainings here, and I believe that we are scheduled out through April at this time. But if for some reason there is something that you would like to see more training on, drop that in our Facebook group. We always are looking for what you want to know more information about. Thank you. Thank you. I hope everyone has a fabulous day.